I want to say Alabama State's got a nice team. They've done a really nice job with their team. They will be very, very competitive in their league, and they'll have a chance to play in the NCAA tournament. That said, I have nothing positive to say about the game, about our team. I am very, very disappointed in how we played. I feel bad for people that paid to watch that. There's a standard that this team's they meet that standard pretty damn consistently on a practice standpoint. They've met it in terms of approach. They've met that standard for the most part in all the games that we played to date. We did not meet that standard tonight, and that makes me very angry or disappointed. What does anger matter? So I have nothing positive to say about it other than that we won the game, and we will get back to it as soon as I'm done with you guys. And this as a staff, we're not allowed to get in there and practice tonight. Those days are long gone.
Do you think any of it is just in relation to how well you've played so far, that maybe they take it for granted that it's going to come easy, or is it the holiday thing? Like, do you have any?
I try not to play that game because that's a slippery slope. I can't read minds and get in by. I don't do that. I'm a basketball coach, and there are standards to approach, and you meet those standards every day. And this team is capable of meeting our standard for how we approach it and the level that we play to. It doesn't mean you have to play well in terms of how you shoot it or your decision making. That's basketball. That's life. But there's a standard to approach mentality. There are controllable parts to a basketball game. I expect us to be, 30 for how many games we play? 31? 31 for 31 in terms of that. Or 100 for 100 if we have 100 practices. I don't expect us to shoot it well every night or, have the ball bounce. There's going to be things, but the standard for approach has to be there. It wasn't there tonight, and I'm disappointed. This team's capable of meeting that standard every night. I've been on teams that met it every night, played, coached them. This team's capable of that, and they know. I didn't yell and scream it after the game. They know. They know we didn't play to our standard.
What was the most disappointing aspect of the game?
I don't have one. All of them. And I'm not mad at you guys. I'm mad about the way that we played tonight. I'm disappointed. I don't have one thing. Transition defense, loose balls, defensive rebound. I could go execution, pace, attention to detail. I can go on and on and on and on. And I'm not going to do that. I really believe in working. So I'm not going to skirt you guys. Whenever I'm done answering your questions, I'm going to get back to work. We're going to go break the film down and figure out the best way we can get back to working in the process of getting better. But I won't dwell. We got a big game on Tuesday against a really, really, really good, talented team on the road that is hungry. All right, we better get our butts in gear.
Dylan and Connor both left the game with injuries. Connor came back in. Dylan didn't. Did you have an update on him?
Dylan could have come back. What I was told, him and Bob, me and Gene, our trainer, told me that. I chose not to bring him back. Listen, I'm trying to limit Day-Day's minutes, again, as much as I possibly can, for at least another couple weeks, or maybe I won't do that on Tuesday, but at least in practice here for a little bit in a game that felt like it was in hand in the second half, and then trying to get Jizzle less of a load tonight. I really was once the game was in hand, and then somebody's got to bring the ball up the court, and so that's why I put Connor back in. That there's really no other explanation other than that. I don't have anybody else to put in the game.
Coach, I know you're disappointed with how your team played, but is an experience like this good with such a big game on Tuesday to get them refocused for the road trip?
Every experience, as I said in my press conference to you guys a couple days ago, is positive if it's handled the right way. If you learn from it, you grow from it. I don't feel warm and fuzzy inside right now, guys. I am happy we won the game. I've been a part of some bad losses, unfortunately, and it's a heck of a lot worse when you lose it. So I told the guys, this is good. The good part, we won the game, and every time you win a Division I game, That's a good thing, okay? But after that, I don't feel warm and fuzzy and positive. But yeah, I mean, we'll get back to the process of getting better, and we'll try to learn from every dang thing we go through.
Shooting wise, it was your lowest 3-point percentage, but is that something that they did, or?
They backed up. They went under everything. It was kind of a funky thing, right? Because they kind of bait you into maybe, taking a quicker shot, or that, we're not used to not being guarded. And sometimes when somebody doesn't guard you and you're not used to that, like that can kind of mess with you. So you shoot a little faster than you should, or you settle when you shouldn't, because this has been a really unselfish team. And so I thought, maybe the way that they tried to defend us, it's and I get it in their shoes, right? Like you feel like you got to do something, and it could have backfired. It should have backfired if we played the right way. But they backed up. It probably made us settle because we were more open than we're ever used to being, and it turned into some, less than stellar shot selection, which usually turns into lower numbers. And I wasn't pleased with our offensive decision making, execution, shot selection, the whole nine.
The free throw shooting, 5 of 12, but 5 of those are Dylan. How do you get a guy out of that, whatever you want to call it? I think he's 1 for 15 now.
You get in the gym and you work on your jumper and shoot, and I expect Dylan to do that every day. He's been consistent with his work ethic. He's a good shooter, so keep shooting.
19 threes in the first half, only 22s. Is that part of what you were unhappy with, was settling maybe a little bit because of the way the defense was playing?
Love threes. I do. I mean, I shoot. It's the only thing I could do as a player. I mean, I like threes. I just like good, but I like good shots better than threes. People are always trying to figure out, as a coach, what do you value? I'll tell you what I value: a great shot. Every time we come down the floor, I want our team to work to get a great shot. We grade that, stat that, evaluate that. We have great shots, we have average shots, and we have less bad shots. I use a different word. I won't say it public. We have bad shots. And what we want is to always work for a great one. And if the defense or the shot clock forces us to take an average one, so be it. Hopefully you got good enough players that can rise up and do that. We never want to take bad ones. I thought tonight, and again, I thought defensively, we're guarded in a way that we're not usually guarded, but I thought we probably settled for average ones before we worked for great ones. But if you ever come in, I'll help you guys. If we took 50 shots from three in the first half and they were 50 great threes, I'd be happier than a clam. I mean, I'd be as happy as all get out. If we took 50 threes and they were all average shots, I wouldn't be happy. So it's the quality of shot, not where the shot comes from, that I care about.
17 points from Knox of his 24 in the first half. What was he doing to the defense up top to get those actions to stay efficient?
They did a good job of freeing him up in ball screens, right? Like they screened us, and we struggled to fight through, which has been a strength of our team early. Like we've been hard to screen. I mean, we didn't do as good of a job, and that's not always the guy getting screened. I mean, that's the obvious part of it. Sometimes it's the way you communicate the coverage. Sometimes it's the coverage. Sometimes it's the three guys that aren't involved in the coverage being a little more active. But they got him loose with the ball, and then he's confident, and he got it going pretty good. And he scored in a lot of different ways there in the first half, right? He scored in the half court. He scored in isolation. He scored off of defensive rebounds that we didn't come off. Scored in the open court. I mean, off turnovers and things of that nature. So congrats to him. He had a really nice game and a really nice first half.
How much are you expecting the players on the team to hold each other accountable after a performance like that, instead of just kind of leaning on you to do that?
Well, I mean, we have a veteran group, and a group that I think wants to be good, believes they can be good. I mean, I'm not, again, I don't get into the semantics of it. Like, there's a standard, we didn't reach it, and everybody in that room should care about that. And I actually, deep down, I really like my team. I mean, I like them, so I believe they care a lot. So I believe that they're disappointed like I'm disappointed.
Coach, on a little bit lighter note, what are your plans for you and your team tomorrow?
What's that?
On a little bit lighter note, what are your plans for you and your team tomorrow with some of those guys not being able to go home?
Yeah, and I actually said this in the one. I didn't say a lot in the locker room after the game, but the one thing I did say is like, this is year 14 as a head coach for me, and I don't know, year 17 in coaching, and gosh, 5 years in playing, so 22 years in college basketball, and that's 22 of the last 23 years of my life. I've spent Thanksgiving with my team, 22 of the last 23 years with my team, whether I was playing or coaching. And it's really, really important to us that when they're away from their immediate family in a holiday situation, like I'm used to it now, to get 22 years of it. This is normal for me. This is my tradition. But when they're away as young people from their immediate family, it's important they feel that same holiday spirit from their basketball family here in Cincinnati. So what I've learned is two things. One, we're going to have them all over the house. Any families in town, we'll let them come to the house. Our staff and families will come to the house, and we'll have a big-time Thanksgiving meal. And the second thing is I have the ability. It ain't easy for me, but I have the ability to turn off whatever's going on with me in terms of the coaching side of basketball for tomorrow. I mean, when the guys come over to my house tomorrow, guys, I ain't going to be mad. I'm not going to think about basketball at all other than watching what the heck's on TV with the guys, and we'll enjoy being around each other and having a great meal and making them feel warm. That won't be easy, but I'm a heck of a lot better at it now than I was years and years ago.
Are you cooking?
No.
Straight catered?
No.
No.
The girlfriends and wives, and we got some good ones. They'll make some homemade dishes, and that's pretty cool. And then there'll be a little catering. It'll be 50 people or something, so it'll be a little bit of catering probably to make sure we have enough food. But there'll be a lot of homemade food in there tomorrow, and that's always been important from the time I've been in coaching.
How'd you feel the team?
But my butt can't cook, guys. So
How'd you feel the team practice leading up to this game?
they asked that same question on the radio. I don't want to. I do try to put things in perspective and not be too reactive to emotions and anger and things like that. As I try to mature, I felt like I was angry like a little child out there tonight a couple times, and we didn't sprint back on defense. But what was your question?
How did the team practice from your view?
Yeah.
over the
So,
last few days?
it probably wasn't our best 2 days of practice, but it wasn't one of those things that I felt like we came out of practice that we're going to stink. That kind of thing, right? That this has been a pretty good group to practice. Was it our most spirited 2 days of practice? Probably not. And we'll address that with them.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks.
Thanks, Wes. Everything